this is really important, advice and support. James Burke is a business growth specialist from Action Coach Manchester. He was made homeless at the age of 16. His boxing career was cut short very quickly. He fell into depression. He's managed to turn his life around working as a coach, and has released his first book. It's called The Journey to Wealth and a World-Class Mindset, and I caught up with James earlier. James, tell us a bit about you and how things were for you growing up.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So I'm a business coach. I own Action Coach Manchester, which is a business coaching company. So we help business owners grow. And I came into that through wanting to help other people, and that very much, as a lot of people do in that kind of philanthropic arena of wanting to help others. It's usually because they've been through some stuff themselves. Very true for me as well. So my story was, starts back when I was 16. I made a lot of bad decisions, Mike, when I was 16, a lot of emotional decisions. I ended up homeless. Just a young boy, really. Sleeping in outdoor toilets and in parks and all that kind of bad stuff. And that's where my story and my journey comes from, really. And over the coming years, I went through a few hardships on the back of, again, more bad decisions. I hadn't learned my lesson, unfortunately, which ended up in my boxing career ending, suffering with depression, suicidal, and really had some hard times up until the age of about 21 when things started to turn around.
Right, so I can understand, because we all make decisions in life, and sometimes, for the grace of God, most of them are right, but sometimes we can make catastrophically wrong decisions. So I understand that. I understand then another set of decisions. What I find interesting is how you actually, not the fact you came out, how you ever managed to get to a point where you could start to recover things. What was the catalyst for that, do you think?
So it kind of happened twice, Mike, to be honest. I think the first one was I'd been homeless for about a year. I was then had refuge in a hostel. I was kicked out of the hostel, and I went to live with one of my sisters. She lived in Leicester. And it was at that point, really, where things seemed at their worst, but kind of hit rock bottom, where I got a little bit of headspace, with the distance from Manchester, and decided to turn my life around. That was the first one. I just think it was that thing of hitting rock bottom, and I always say rock bottom is a great place to build a foundation. So then the second time, then after that, as I was trying to make my recovery, and the way for me to do that was through sports, because I was boxing at a high level at the time, so I turned professional, and then my career was ended in my professional debut. I broke my jaw, was diagnosed with osteoporosis, and was told I wouldn't box again. So that was where I really slipped into. One of my friends as well passed away at the same time, more of a role model actually than a friend, and that was the start of depression and the issues with suicide and that kind of stuff, really. So again, at that point, it was hitting rock bottom again, or actually probably more of a rock bottom, and thinking, right, this is where I need to build from, and making that decision that this wasn't going to define me, this wasn't what my future looked like.
When you come from the same background, we're both from the same background. I mean, I left school when I was 15. You started off on life, made your wrong decisions at 16. Most kids now don't leave school till they're 18. So it was a different world and a difficult world. And you're articulate, you're knowledgeable. How did you educate yourself or cause yourself to be educated, do you think?
Natural curiosity, I think. I've always been curious in why the successful are successful and why everybody else isn't, and why you see these stories, and it's become almost a trend, hasn't it? Never mind a cliche, that you see these super successful people and it's the rags to riches story. And you see that in the sporting arena, but you also see that in business and, all across life, really. And that really fascinated me, and that natural curiosity of how the successful do what they do from situations like what me and you have been through, and many other people out there as well. That's one thing I learned through my hardship, is there's a lot of suffering out there. And, how that has happened, what what are the key ingredients? And so that's what I've spent the last 10 to 15 years of my personal development journey trying to find out.
Why did you feel that a book was necessary to illustrate it?
The book was a really big driver in making sure that other people could share this enthusiasm and passion and love for life that I've got now, and that I certainly didn't have all those years ago when I was 16, 17, 18, etc. So I feel pretty blessed that I get to wake up with this passion and enthusiasm for life. And for me, I think everyone deserves that. Everyone deserves to live an excellent life, yet so many people settle for either mediocrity or, you know, there's a hell of a lot of pain out there like we discussed. So it was kind of helping people get that out there. And, you know, if a guy like me can do it, that's what the first chapter is dedicated to, is my story and my journey from, you know, being homeless to wealth and a world-class mindset. If the rest of the book then is spent on how you go and do it. So that was a really big driver for me to help other people go do the same thing.
And James, just to finish, what do you hope that somebody reading your book will get out of it?
I think the biggest thing for me is that they will fall in love with that energy for life and that enthusiasm, and they can take away from it that actually they can create life however they want. However they want. What human beings can do is amazing. It's incredible. But yet what we often do, what human beings often actually do, is quite disappointing. So that's the big driver. Let's go achieve some incredible things together. And that's what I hope people take from the book.
All the best with the book. Great talking to you, mate. Really is. Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate. Take care.
An amazing programme today.